Just who's doing the karate in Cobra Kai's kick-ass fight scenes? And how do they make the moves look so cool? Do the actors really do their own stunts, or is it all just movie magic? Like the classic movies that inspired it, we know Cobra Kai brings the martial arts moves. As Daniel and Johnny train the next generation of karate kids, the cast has plenty of shots to show off their skills. Remember that iconic cafeteria fight? We still can't get those badass action shots out of our head. And the newly released Season 3 is no exception. Although we do feel bad for the LaRusso's house, hopefully they have a good insurance agent. Surprisingly, a lot of the show's shots are actually the actors doing their own stunts. They only bring in doubles when the characters are taking real hits. So your faves are not only slaying their acting, they're kicking some ass too.
This is one of my favorite Peyton moves, right there!
Oh, that's it!
But what does it take to get those moves to the screen? And what happens when they go wrong? Keep watching while we take a peek behind the scenes of the most insane stunts on the show. Who's really pulling the strings? For starters, let's look at the stunt coordinators behind those epic fight scenes. Hito Koda and Janelle Kerfman are the husband and wife team behind Cobra Kai's awesome stunts. Talk about fighting with your family. Hito and Janelle are the ones choreographing the fight sequences and keeping the cast safe while they do them. Luckily, they had a bit of a head start, as some of the cast already had a background in martial arts. Taylor Buchanan, who plays Robbie, had some experience with Taekwondo and Muay Thai, and Hawk's portrayer, Jacob Bertrand, is a purple belt in karate. And Johnny Lawrence himself, aka actor William Zabka, is a second-degree green belt. Another thing that made the on-screen performance more believable, the cast was learning karate skills along with their character. So you're not just seeing Robbie and Miguel and Sam learning karate, you're seeing their actors growing as well. The cast had some major obstacles to overcome. Since they're doing real on-camera fighting, the cast had to do a ton of training to get in shape for their roles. Actor Xolo Maridueña remembers the early days as being scary and painful. And Mary Mouser said that it initially took over 2 hours to teach her one kick. Luckily, she's catching up fast. Now, it only takes her 20 minutes. And the stunt coordinators even named her the most improved cast member. But sometimes the stunt performers have to step in to keep things safe. Apparently, Jacob Bertrand really wanted to shoot that scene where Hawk gets thrown through the glass. There wasn't a safe way to do it, so the stunt team had to tell him no. The show's most epic scene almost didn't happen. Remember that epic cafeteria fight we were talking about? Shooting it was even more complicated than you might think. Since it was shot at a real high school, they were limited to shooting on weekends. The cast and crew had just 4 days to get it filmed. That's not a lot of time for the most epic showdown of the season. To get the cast ready, the stunt team filmed a previous version of the fight so that the actors could get a sense of how the scene could go. You can check out their final choreography and the cast reactions in the clip.
Oh, right in the nuts. Good job, Wendy.
Ooh, that's a hard hit, Tanner.
It's actually not that bad. The hair whip helps.
The cast only had one shot to get it right. Not only was the cafeteria scene shot in just 4 days, it was all shot in one take. That means the camera didn't cut at all. So the cast had to get it totally perfect. And to make things even more complicated, stunt doubles and actors were switching places throughout the scene. In industry terms, it's called a Texas switch. Check out this clip of the scene where the actors point out where the stunt doubles swapped in. Could you tell who was who?
Peyton comes in right there, yeah, so that was Janelle before. It was so confusing, but it was so much fun.
The actors had some scary close calls. Even with the stunt coordinators keeping things safe, the actors are doing a lot of their own stunts, so sometimes things can go wrong. In the big school cafeteria fight scene, Mary Mouser forgot that Peyton List was kicking towards her head and almost forgot to move out of the way. Everyone thought she was acting scared, but her reaction was a real one.
I remember doing, it's the second where I come back in and you come in for that arc and kick, that one right there.
And later in the scene, poor Taylor slipped and wiped out. Luckily, he nailed it on a later take and the scene looks perfect.
Oh my gosh, and I remember this part.
I still laugh. Tanner,
I know.
Tanner slipped when he was doing that one of the takes.
And when you're going that hard, you're bound to take a few real bumps and bruises. Actresses Peyton and Mary remember being totally banged up at the end of the shoot, poor Mary missed a block and even ended up in the ER. But it turns out that she's as tough as her character because she came back to finish filming and fighting the very next day. And the set took a beating too. Like the time Solo Maridueña, the actor who plays Miguel, misjudged a kick and took out the railing instead. Oh well, better to hit the set than another actor.
There's a part where I kicked the railing and I actually broke the railing. I don't know if we got into a bunch of trouble for that, but I think that was the take that they used as well.
And in case you're wondering, yep, that's the actual cast kicking ass in the cement truck. The only movie magic there is that the cement mixer isn't actually attached to a vehicle, but the cast definitely got messy. Just check out these behind the scenes pics. Check out Jacob's messed up mohawk. Xolo took a major fall. The close-up slow-mo moment when Miguel takes a header over the railing is a super dramatic moment, but how much of it is really Xolo? Turns out it was a 3-part shot. First, they filmed the stunt person going over the railing. Then, Xolo was hooked up to wires and lowered towards the ground. And then, the stuntman jumped back in for the part when Miguel hits the railing. We've got to give him props for such a complicated setup. It looks totally flawless.
The one that you see me falling off the rail, that's Noah. And then they dragged me down a third of the speed that I would actually have fallen. And I like boinked my head at the bottom, and then Noah just took that one like a champ.
The cast had to learn to fly. And Miguel's fall isn't the only scene that uses ropes. Remember the epic fight scene in the mall? What about Sam's high-flying jump kick? Turns out she's not part kangaroo. She's got a harness hooked up to a rope. When she jumps into her kick, the crew pulls the rope, lifting her higher and giving the illusion that she's catching some major air. Some of those hits were real, and Courtney Hengler had a mishap of her own. Season 3 has an awesome moment when her character Amanda LaRusso storms into Cobra Kai dojo and smacks Kreese right in the face. It's a super cool scene, but when they were filming, things went off the rails. Apparently, she was nervous about the stunt and about working with actor Martin Kove for the very first time. So when she went in for the slap, she actually hit him in the face. Funny enough, that's the take they used in the show. Seems like she took Kreese's strike first lesson to heart.
Got it?
You're a feisty one. But I like that. I like it.
I don't give a shit what you like.
Whew. This is a cast that really brings their all, and even when they take some hits, they look pretty good doing it. We can't imagine trying to act while also dodging fists and kicks, but they make it look effortless. But now we know there's actually a lot of hard work and planning that goes into those scenes. And honestly, it just makes us stand even more. But now we want to know what you think. Did any of these behind-the-scenes secrets surprise you? And which cast member gets your MVP award? Let us know in the comments below.